The Zero Lens, Understanding Program Success from Start to Finish, presented by Dalia Gumio, Katie Fortner, Lacey Moore, and Odion Mowo. The Zero model, developed by Warbird and Rackham, is a structured way to evaluate training by moving through 4 stages: context, input, reaction, and outcome. It is sequential, meaning each stage builds on the previous one, starting with understanding the need for training and ending with measuring its impact. To illustrate this, consider evaluating LinkedIn Learning modules for instructional design. In the context stage, we would first identify why learners are taking these modules. For example, it might be a gap in instructional design skills among graduate students or professionals transitioning into this field. Next, in the input stage, we evaluate the modules themselves, looking at course design, content quality, and alignment with learning goals. The reaction stage focuses on how learners respond, such as their satisfaction, engagement, and perceived usefulness of the modules. And finally, in the outcome stage, we would assess whether learners actually develop instructional design skills and apply them in real-world settings. A key feature of the Zero model is its emphasis on starting with context, ensuring that training, like in LinkedIn Learning modules, is aligned with real learner and organizational needs. This makes the evaluation more meaningful, targeted, and evidence-based. In stage 1 of Zero model, context, the focus is on understanding the situation before any training begins. This starts with the training needs analysis, where we identify gaps between current performance and desired outcomes. For example, when evaluating LinkedIn Learning modules for instructional design, we might find that learners lack practical experience in designing aligned learning objectives or assessments. From there, we identify performance deficiencies and contextual factors, such as learner goals, program requirements, or time constraints. Based on this, we define 3 levels of objectives. Ultimate objectives, like improving instructional design competency in a graduate program, intermediate objectives, such as applying design models like 80, and immediate objectives, like learning to write measurable learning objectives. This stage also includes orientation and preparation, helping learners understand why these LinkedIn modules matter for their academic or professional growth, which increases motivation and engagement. The evidence used here comes from learner performance data, stakeholder expectations, and readiness assessments, along with contextual factors like access to online learning tools. Overall, the context stage ensures that the LinkedIn Learning modules are relevant, targeted, and aligned with real learner needs before moving forward. In this stage, the context analysis produces key outputs that guide the entire training process. For example, when evaluating LinkedIn Learning modules for instructional design, the analysis helps identify specific skills gaps, such as a difficulty applying design models or creating aligned assessments. This ensures we can clearly understand what learners are missing before engaging with the modules. It also establishes a structured hierarchy of objectives. For LinkedIn Learning, the ultimate objective might be improving professional instructional design competence. The intermediate objective could focus on applying design strategies in real projects, and the immediate objective might involve mastering specific skills like writing learning objectives. Additionally, this stage generates baseline data, such as learners' current knowledge or confidence levels, which can later be used to measure growth. It also ensures the training, these LinkedIn modules, is properly aligned with learner needs and goals. Importantly, the context stage acts as a formative evaluation, shaping how the training is designed and implemented. By focusing on what is lacking, it ensures the learning experience is relevant, purposeful, and goal-driven. Ultimately, this stage determines the direction and quality of the entire program and helps motivate learners by clearly showing why the training matters.
Hello everyone, my name is Dali Gamil. I will be talking about the second stage of the Zero model, which is input evaluation. Input evaluation focuses on examining and selecting the most appropriate training solution to address the needs and performance gaps identified during the context evaluation stage. This phase evaluates the design, content, resources, delivery methods, and implementation plans of the training program before it is delivered. The purpose of the input evaluation is to ensure that the proposed training program aligns with the organizational goals, learners' needs, and available resources. The key question we have to answer in this stage is what training should be provided and how should it be delivered. During input evaluation stage, instructional designers and stakeholders will create measurable learning objectives, determine the instructional strategies, choose assessment methods, select delivery methods, develop content and learning activities, allocate budget and resources. Input evaluation relies heavily on information gathered during the context evaluation stage to ensure training design decisions are evidence-based. Evidence that informs input evaluation include first, organizational data that include strategic plans, performance reports, compliance requirements. Second, resource data that include budget, personnel, technology, availability. Third, learners data that include skill assessments, uh, prior knowledge levels, demographic. Fourth and last, stakeholder data that include interviews, surveys, focus groups. Input evaluation serves as the blueprint for successful training. When done well, it increases the likelihood that the program will produce meaningful organizational results. The benefits of effective input evaluation. First, aligns training with the organizational goals. Second, uses resources effectively. Third, improves learning outcomes. Fourth, reduces unnecessary training. Fifth, support successful implementation. To apply the input evaluation process on the LinkedIn instructional design needs analysis training example, first we need to develop our evaluation questions. An example will be, does the course content align with the identified needs? Are instructional methods appropriate? Are learning objectives clear? The evidence we are going to use are course objectives, course syllabus, training materials, LinkedIn Learning Platform features. The findings are the course include modules on setting project goals, gathering data, analyzing data, defining learning outcomes. Now we can say the instructional design aligns directly with the identified needs for needs analysis skills.
For step three, I will be discussing reaction evaluation. In regard to reaction evaluation, feedback is very important. Three areas of focus are the program content, the approach of the program and the data collection, and the value added. One important component of the serial model is the reaction evaluation and how that affects the program that's being evaluated. So within the LinkedIn instructional designer training, it would be important to gather participants' views and feedback about the training they received, and from measuring their reaction, it shows how learners perceive the overall training experience and whether the conditions were present or not. So it's testing for program content and how it related to the participants, training approach, delivery methods, the perceived value and usefulness of the training, also alongside with the purpose. Reactions also help identify strengths and weaknesses of the training program, and it collects suggestions for improving future training initiatives. An important component of collecting the reaction of participants is the data collection methods and how those collections are used to improve the program. So, methods of collections can include the surveys or questionnaires, interviews, focus groups, or participant feedback forms, or course evaluations. So, some key questions that can come up is how did participants feel about the training? Was the content relevant and engaging, which was mentioned in the previous slide? Did the training provide value, and what changes could improve the experience, which was also mentioned in the previous slide? Once the data is collected and reviewed, the results can help with improving course design and delivery of the course, modify the training formula based on participant recommendations, and enhance the future learning experience through continuous improvement. Some key distinctions are that the SIRA model places a greater emphasis on gathering participant suggestions and using feedback to improve future trainings, unlike Kirkpatrick's reaction level. So that's something to keep in mind.
This is going over step 4 of the serial model. Step 4 is the outcome evaluation portion of this evaluation model. What is being measured? Whether the training had an impact on the company's bottom line or the desired goal is what our goal is when we approach step 4. Step 4 is the most important level because it assesses whether the training had measurable improvements on employees, and did these improvements impact the company's desired goal. The serial model has 4 levels of evaluation or measurement points used to track 3 outcomes or results. In these next slides, we will go over exactly how these 4 levels and the 3 outcomes interact with one another. This is going to be stage 4 output of the serial model. What happens during stage 4 output? During stage 4 output, the first step is to begin with the end in mind. So you want to start with stage 1. Stage 1 sets the entire stage, no pun intended, for stage 4. So you want to start with the stage 1 objectives and the problems identified within stage 1. The results are measured against these objectives. Did the training actually solve the problem? Step 2, you want to gather evidence in 3 different ways. You want immediate, intermediate, and ultimate. Immediate outcomes. What did the learner gain? Is the learner able to apply this knowledge directly on the job? Immediate, intermediate outcomes. How well is the learning applied in the job? What behavior changes are evident? Ultimate outcomes are measures the business goals. Did sales increase and company costs get lower? Within stage 4, there are 4 major levels and 3 outcomes. This slide will discuss how those 2 are intertwined. So it will discuss how the 4 levels and the 3 outcomes are intertwined. So in the serial model, there are 4 levels of evaluation: the learner, the workplace, team, and business in stage 4. These 4 levels of evaluation are measurements used to monitor and evaluate the 3 types of outcomes: the immediate, intermediate, and ultimate. The immediate outcomes focus on the learner. What was learned during the training? What happened before the learner walked out of the training? Did they retain and gain any new knowledge or skills? Intermediate outcomes. This focuses on the workplace and the team as a whole during the training. Ultimate outcomes focuses on the organization itself. What improved? What results? What resulted from the training? Was it effective? Conducting stage 4 involves 3 operational actions: pre and post measurement, targeted data collection, and analysis of stakeholder expectations. As we delve more into understanding what stage 4 is, we want to talk about the data used to inform these outcomes. Stage 4 relies on stage 1 and uses the initial problem proposed in stage 1 for comparison, with comparison against the results in stage 4. Stage 4 is largely informed by stage 1. To measure the outcomes, real-world data points are used, such as KPIs. Stage 1 provides the baseline metrics and business deficiencies that Stage 4 will measure against. For example, immediate outcomes, which focuses on the learner level. The interaction here is focused on the individual. What does it really measure, though? Did the person actually learn the material? At the learner level, you use immediate outcomes like post-training test scores or skill demonstrations to verify that the training was successful, that the knowledge gained by the participant was effective, and to determine what knowledge the trainee received before they left the training. When you go to look at the intermediate outcomes, which is the workplace and the team levels, this is where the training meets the real world. It measures the bridge between learning a skill and the company making more money, or the bottom line. Workplace level, you look at intermediate outcomes in the individual's behavior. Is the employee actually using a new software or following a new safety protocol, for example? On the team level, you look for intermediate outcomes in the group dynamics as a whole. Is the department communicating better or finishing projects faster? What is the interaction? These levels form the intermediate outcome by proving that the training didn't just stay in the learner's head. It changed how the work was getting done. Ultimate outcomes, which is the business level focus. This is the bottom line. It looks at the highest level of the organization. What does it measure? Did the training solve the original business problem? We're losing 20% of our customers, for example. What interaction does this play? Well, at the business level, it provides the data for ultimate outcomes. You are going to be analyzing high-level metrics like total profit, market share, or company-wide turnover. If these have improved, the ultimate outcome is considered successful. In conclusion to this presentation, talking about the serial model at all 4 stages, the serial model is a hierarchical framework for evaluating management training. The main focus of this model is to take measurements before and after training to determine training effectiveness. The serial model's results offer evidence-based decision-making, continuous improvement, and increased ROI. Furthermore, the serial model uses a holistic approach by considering multiple approaches and acknowledges contextual considerations when collecting and analyzing data. We thank you for your time and thank you for listening to this presentation.